Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Ionis, how are you? Okay, let's see how we get on today. It is Wednesday. Just adjust that a little bit. There we go. Okay, so got some news coming up in around about just over 30 minutes. Jolt's job openings. It's all right. I have to keep flicking on to Forex Factory to tell. It's showing on the 1200 tick chart at the moment, but sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. So this news add-on is a little bit hit and miss. So I think the safest option is just to check Forex Factory. So at the moment, really, we've had this drop overnight highs, overnight and lows, and it's just going sideways, really. Whether that's got anything to do with the jobs, it's hard to tell, really. Sometimes the news makes a difference, sometimes it doesn't. So I thought for a minute we got a leg up there. We made 3 attempts to break and a strong push up, so I thought we may get a couple of legs back and push up for a second leg, giving it maybe just a bigger overall range, but it's still a bit early. So incidentally, my code, Apex code, isn't working at the moment. I did drop Apex an email yesterday, but as of yet, they haven't got back to me. But I believe if you just use save 80, I think it'll give you the same discount. I'm hoping they get back to me pretty quick. Let's have a look. I got you. Brilliant. Okay. I've just had a message. Groll Daddy. Sometimes you get messages from people and you don't recognise their name, but obviously they go by their sort of like handle. But he just reminded me, he started following me a year and a half ago when I had 18 to 19 green days in a row. I remember back then. I got to try and get back to that sort of discipline. It's just a trade as well. Excellent. Brilliant. That's nice to hear from people. It's you. There you go. I know the name Groll Daddy. I appreciate that, bud. Yeah. You've been with us for a while, haven't you? Yeah, I remember having that amount of days in a row. Things have changed a little bit, I think, but I think ultimately, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. You've got to sort of try and analyse what's going on in your trading, and I think most of my issues really is discipline. It's very hard to sort of focus and think about, market is open, by the way, to think about exactly what's going on in your trading. Sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you can't tell. It's almost like someone else needs to sit and look at you and sort of tell you what's going on. But discipline, I think. I had a nice disciplined day, nice and patient yesterday, waited for a trade, took it, left it, let it go, and it worked perfectly. So that's what I need to do, really. Just focus on a trade a day. Or 3 trades a week. If you can get 3 trades a week, you can make all the money you want. But it's very easy to let those sort of emotions kick in and that discipline to drop a little bit. But I think as long as you recognise it, so it's hard to tell at the moment whether this thing's going up or not. At the moment, we've had a bounce and we're trying to push up again. So it's K3, how you doing, buddy? Right. Okay, news is coming up 30 minutes. Market is open. It's still a bit slow today, but we have had lots of volume overnight, surprisingly enough. But we are nicely into September now, September the 4th. Maybe a short day for me tomorrow. I may not trade. I'm not sure. It's my daughter's 16th tomorrow. So I think she's at home tomorrow, I think. So I'll see how I get on. Most of the time she shuts herself in a room anyway and does her stuff, so she may not even be interested in me when she's opened up all her presents. So we'll see. Even though I do trade, it may be a short day anyway, so we'll see. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so channel up. We had a bit of a correction, 2 legs back. Nice big bullish bar there. Definitely worked. And then we got a further 2 touches of this area here and then a strong push up. So I don't know. I keep thinking there's a good chance this is going to move up. We came back and bounced off that midline. We've pushed up to the top. Same again, we're struggling to get down there. So my thoughts are this is probably going to break out of here. Whether there is anything larger there or not. It's a bit early, but let's just say we got that line there. We're not a million miles away there, are we? Kind of looks okay there. Let's straighten that up a bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. Trouble is, if this is a channel, we're nice at the top there. We only got up a certain way, so I'm going to just remove this a minute because this could fail. But it's just not super clear at the moment. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, mate? Okay, so we have got above all this, so we've taken out, after this push down and one attempt higher, second attempt, there's probably going to be some liquidity above here, but that's cleared it all out. So whether we'll get up higher or whether this will come back down a bit, but there is a channel there with an overshoot, so who knows? No setup here anyway. I mean, you may have gone bounce, bounce, bounce. There's a triple test there, but it's clearly congested. You don't know whether we're going to have a leg down, sideways, another leg down and bounce off. Trouble is we've had a few attempts to break below this and we haven't, but it doesn't mean we can't still continue to go like this and use that midline as the bottom. So there's no guarantees this thing is going to come down in it. And if you think about it, it actually triggered that bar and then stopped out, which is telling you it's probably likely going to go up. So we've had an overshoot there, big bearish bar. So there may be something like that. I'll tell you what I've been watching a little bit lately, that David Paul. Is a British guy. I think he had a career in the Royal Marines in the UK and then went into trading. And I like what he's got to say. If you've never seen him, look him up. David Paul is. I kind of like listening to his opinion. And quite a few traders say when you can trade and you manage to get that discipline, trading becomes easy. It becomes just like any other job that you get good at. It doesn't mean to say you're not going to have the odd losing day or losing trade. That's a given. That's all part of it. So I was kind of hoping we may get a lower high there, an overshoot. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, bearish bar. I think there's a good chance then that's going to come down to that EMA. Let's have a look. There is a failure there. Take that though. I'd want at least 2 points there really, but it's hard to know whether we're going to get that. I think we will actually for sure. Yeah. There is a failure there. Second entry long is probably going to trap traders. I prefer it a little bit more bearish, to be honest with you, but that worked. After that overshoot, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, but it didn't break above there on the 2000 tick chart. So how long we got that news is in about 20, just under 25 minutes. Let's see if we trap that long. looks okay to me, I think. So overshoot, one attempt to go higher, new high, big bearish bar, drop down to the EMA for sure. Second entry long, 2 legs down, off the key entry point here, with a chance of us hitting that high. There'll be some liquidity up here, may try and push up to take. I'm guessing prices will come down below there for sure, because there'll be liquidity there. That is a weak position in my opinion, although it worked because it's so far from that EMA. So I think this will come down. This looks like it's going sideways, which is making me feel more confident that there's a wider channel. So one leg down, second leg down, that'll stop or get taken out. I'm convinced of it. And then we may get something off here. Yeah, Thomas Wade's just put that up now, right after me. So, in fact, he's actually made that whole channel. Interesting. I thought he'd just done the same as me. He hasn't, has he? So he's got that as a whole channel, which is interesting. I'm not sure at the moment, and the reason being is because we've had what looks like a half okay channel followed by a nice 2-legged correction. So that didn't get stopped out. I thought it would. I thought this was going to go sideways close to this and drop down below there, take out that liquidity, but it didn't. Okay, there's the measured move. Bang, right to the nearest tick. There we go. So any liquidity there got taken out. There'll have been some there, real strong selling there, so you can expect some there. And that just had a quick pop there to take it out. So it's taken anything out there. It may have a go for some of this, or it may come down, but that for me is likely going to be an overshoot based on what I'm seeing now. But if there is a larger channel, in fact, that doesn't look too bad now all of a sudden. So that looks okay. I think we've got a touch close there, but I don't think that matters too much. So from this channel, there's an overshoot. Let's see. Actually, look at that. Look at that touch. Beautiful. So measured moves played out. So look at the 1,000 or the 1,200. See how that looks. So 2 legs taken out of liquidity. It may go for something up here, or if we can get a lower high. Keeping an eye on that news, just over 15 minutes. So yeah, my Apex code's not working at the moment. I didn't drop Apex It's interesting. Leg up break, new high, lower high, 16 ticks up. I did drop an email yesterday, so hopefully they'll sort it out for me today. I would have thought they'd be that busy at the moment, but maybe they are. So there is a lower high there. So if you had that initial channel, that would be an overshoot followed by a lower high. I'd expect that to come down to the EMA, but this is a bigger channel. So I think I'm staying out of a trade there. It did work, but that will be a counter trend trade just at the moment. Now, there may be just a bigger range, but for me, this is clearly working up at the moment. So you never know whether that's going to trigger you and push up above all this and take some of this out. Excuse me. Second entry long there, but that for me is just, so look, we got kind of leg with a break and a new low, and I'm not sure how far this is going to go. We could have a leg and a leg down to here. We've taken out a lot of liquidity there, so I don't know how much further it's going to go without coming back here and taking a run up. So we had a really bearish day yesterday. I think we dropped about, wow, that's a fair old drop, 150, over 150 point drop yesterday. So this seems like a channel with a break and a new low and a retest. So I wouldn't be surprised actually if this thing just continues up a lot more. We got a channel down there, maybe we got a leg and leg, I don't know, but I'd probably expect a little bit of upward movement today, at least excuse me, to clear out some of this. I'll look on the daily in a sec. Where's the 10,000 tick chart? Where are you hiding? Oh, it's over here. Let's have a look at this. So let's have a quick look at the 10,000 tick chart. So leg up, leg up. There will be liquidity up here. Channel down, break, new low, retest, push up, couple of attempts to go lower. So there we could get some good fact. There is a second entry long there, but we got a bigger leg with a shorter leg, so that may get stopped out. I'm not sure there. Interesting that. It may work, it may not work, but I'm staying out of that. We got a leg down with a break. There's a bit of vacant space around here, so I'm just sitting tight there. That's a little bit risky for me. Let's have a look on the daily. Okay, so big bearish bar. Big strong move up, a little bit of sideways. You'd probably call that as a fail breakout. Well, a breakout, whether it fail or not. But I would say there's a good chance of at least getting up to the bottom of this. You'd expect after a big drop like that below all this to at least make an attempt to push up. So even just to get up to the bottom of this little bit of a channel here, this bit of a range here, we've got like 30 points comfortably. So I'd expect some upward stuff. I like the way it's triggered below that bearish bar as well. So after that big move up like that, a little bit of sideways drop out the bottom, you'd expect that to at least make an attempt to push in there. So that's interesting. So channel break, new low. That triggered, stopped out. That one worked. For me, that's a bit risky, if I'm honest. Because a leg and a leg, we could get down to this bottom here. So officially one leg, possibly it could have triggered a bit and come down to the bottom here. You never quite know whether it's going to do that or not. We know we got some space here. So I initially had it here, didn't I? Now, even if I'd have had that channel, you might say that looks okay, but there's an overshoot there, so I'd expect a deeper correction, which means a leg and a leg. So the second entry long is there. That's only really a first entry. Let's have a look. Tell a lie. So there's a failure there. Yeah, it's risky for me, that is. It's below the EMA. EMA is a bit flat. Leg down with a break. We could definitely get down here. Same again there. Big area. Big empty space. Jay, how you doing, bud? Beautiful second entry. Well, technically, there's the second entry long, isn't it? Or there. That one really isn't. Because first entry, second entry, it's really a third entry. That's, well, it depends what you look at it. I consider that as a second entry, which triggered and came down. Because you've got this, haven't you? My only slight concern is here. That, to me, is a leg. So we could get another leg down here. And the fact that it's below the EMA, for that, I would really want the higher low. You could say that is it, but it's just gone too far for a higher low, that. But it depends what chart you're on. In fact, I'm not even looking at the, what's it today? Let's have a look at this. Zoom in here. Look like two legs, sort of double top. Fit my perfectly. That's the thing with trading. Every individual person can judge it ever so slightly different, depending on your experience. You may go for certain trades that are more of your strong point. I may stay away from them. See, you may say to me, perfect trade there, let's go short there. I don't tend to take a lot of those, so for me it's not. So that's the thing about trading. It's very personal to a certain degree. So, you know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And our maybe levels of discipline. Mine's blacked at the moment, so you don't know sometimes whether your discipline is stronger or not. Is it too strong? Are you too overprotective or not? You know what I mean? So that's a tough one, really. Yeah, I mean, you could say that's a higher low. It's not really, and that to me is very close to these highs. It's just risky, that is, to be honest with you. It may work, but the fact that that's triggered and come part of the way down, the fact that we're going up, you may get saved there, but for me, it's risky, that is. And there's a failure there. You can guarantee we've got a big open space here. There'll be some stops there. You can bet your bottom dollar. We'll see. It may work. But you will have some stops there under that little double bottom. We'll see. It may hold. Let's have a look. Hey, Sam. At the moment, mate, I use it to stop me taking 2 trades in a row. If I lose 2 trades in a row, it stops me, and I can't trade after 6 or before 2 p.m. So I use it for that at the moment. Yeah, that's a good point, Jay. That's a good point, mate. Exactly right. That's why I think you're on the right path, taking trades that you like rather. I think that's a really important point, that is. When you spend, and I've been trading now for about 4 years in December, I spent 6 months with currency, and I've traded literally every single day available, bar about 4 or 5 days total since I started. And you do build up experience. There's no two ways about it. And I think it's about looking at... See, I've noticed Sam, for instance, let's pick on Sam as he's here. Sometimes I see him taking first entries, and I'm thinking it's not a patch trade, but he has success with it. So I think a first entry is okay if it's strong enough and tight enough to the EMA. I've even considered maybe taking some myself, but it works for Sam. You'll get a little bit of luck, but he's done so many of them, and I watch his trades, and they work. And if something works 8 times out of 10, you've got to take it. So I see Mac. There was a trade that Mac marked yesterday that was a first entry, but he said it was kind of 2 legs up. So I think when you've been trading a few years, I think you're better off using your own judgment. Someone else mentioned to me about 6 months ago, I got an email. He said, how about instead of trading what you think Mac might trade him, you trade what you think you will trade? How did you find out your code wasn't working with Apex? I seem to have no issues with mine. Once in a blue moon, mate, it goes. All about fit. Yeah, it is. Absolutely right, mate. And I'm convinced that's why Mac doesn't show us his trades, because he'll break his own rules based on experience and gut feeling. Once in a blue moon, my code goes down for some reason. It's only happened maybe twice. This is probably the second time. But I did mention to him. Someone just messaged me. I think it was a couple of people yesterday said your code didn't work. So I'm just waiting for an email. They've done it before. They just reset it or something. So I dare say I'll get something today. I don't know how busy they are, but yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for perfect second entries and not taking a lot of trade. Sam's taking some first entries that look good, and he's taking more, and he's winning way more trades than me. So, do you know what I'm saying? I think it's important to make a judgment. What code? My code for Apex, UKFT. A couple of people yesterday said it wasn't working, so I just dropped them an email. Where is it? Oh, yesterday, 2:30, 2:30, something like that. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, just me the Apex affiliate code. So yeah, I think when you've been doing it a while, I think you have to start thinking on your feet a bit, and what's the word? Growing up, I think, maturing. I think you have to, when you learn to drive, you don't say, "Oh, I can't cross over my arms because my driving instructor says I can't." You kind of just feel your own way, don't you? So yeah, I've been looking at some of your trades, Sam, and some of your trades don't follow Mac, but they win. So I'm thinking, what do I need to do here? Start thinking on my feet. So yeah, I think if it's a first entry, but it looks good, if we got a nice channel, sometimes we get a channel down there, and we get, let's say, for instance, that bearish bar, and it's snug under that EMA. chances of that coming down, it's got to be 80%. And if you're going for 2 points, you'd be daft not to take it. To make sure some of them exist. Yeah, I mean, look, if you wait for a perfect trade, you may get it right 98% out of 100. If you wait for a first entry that looks solid, it will probably work 8.5 times out of 10. But that's a successful position to take. If it's working 8.5 times out of 10, you're daft not to take it. So I'll do part. I mean, there's some skills I've learnt from Penguin and there's some skills I've learnt from Mac. So I'm just going to do what I feel looks right. And I think it's kind of cool coming of age, isn't it? You can't think, oh, what would Mac do here? You have to sort of mature. And I think I need to do that. So many times I think, oh, I love that one, but the signal bar's crap or whatever, or not so good, and it works perfectly. And we all see once in a while. In fact, Mac did a video of a trade, a second entry, where it was only half a bar. And I thought it was crap. It was below the EMA. EMA was flat, and he took it, and it worked. So, yeah. Oh, news. Okay. Yeah, just because it'll only work 8 times out of 10 doesn't mean you can't take it. If you think it's worth taking, ultimately, it's a judgment call. If you think, if I'm going to win 2 points and risk 2.5 points and it's going to work 7 times out of 10, and you want to take it, you have to take it. You know, if you, for instance, if you're okay with losses and you're okay with losing maybe a couple more every 10, if you're okay with that, then you've got to take it because you're going to make money. That's a fair drop, isn't it? So I think, let's see what's going on here. So we've come down 5, 10, 15, 20, 22, 23 points. Yeah, you have to take it. You have to take it. But you've got to do what's right for you. What's right for you might not be right for someone else. But it doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. That takes it right back. Yeah. You never quite know how these are going to react. Sometimes within 2 minutes it's back up here. Other times it'll come up so far and start to work down. So let's have a look. So we've got this big push down. We've got a push up. And back here we've got a push up again. So yeah, it's hard to know what's going to go on here. Well, the one I've got at the moment that you can see on the 1200 tick chart, I'll show you what that is, but it's a bit hit and miss, mate. It stopped working. It's called that one there, EWX Economic News. I got that from Mac a few years ago, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if you're not sure about news or something's not working, I think the best thing to do personally, well, it's just what I use, is nip over to Forex Factory. That tells us today, where's the US, there we go, Jolt's job openings, which we've got today, grays out what's already gone, and that's the last news there. There's some low impact news at 3 o'clock, but that's gone as well. So that's it for the day. So there's a bunch of these. There's something juice, new, whatever it is, juice. But yeah, we've recovered this, look. But yeah, there's a bunch of them. But if you think it's not working, just check. Financial Juice is also free. Yeah, there's. It's not hard to find out what news. And I only go with US news. I think that's all anybody goes with. But it's done now. But if you noticed on this chart, there's no news, and on this chart it's showing. So it's a bit hit and miss lately. I don't really know why. But yeah, I think after a while you have to start making your own decisions and thinking on your feet. But if you can not let the emotions affect you and play the numbers, you'll make money, even if that means taking 70% win rate trades. It doesn't matter. If there's a positive P&L to them, you've got to take them. That's if you're okay with doing it. But Sam has success with them. I tend to avoid him, but he wins more trades than me, so go figure. Who's the mug? Me. But yeah, it's one of those things, and I think the more we get comfortable with trading, the more we may take slightly more riskier trades. But I tend to wait for perfect trades or take stupid, idiotic ones. But it's about finding your balance, I think, isn't it? You took that failed second entry long. Failed second entry long. Which one of you took, mate? I haven't got one of mine yet. This is interesting. Are we going to get a second entry long up here? We've recovered all this. We were bullish. I'm just going to get an order ready just in case. Channel up there with a break. 1, 2 pushes down. Possible second entry long. Mind you, we've got close to this top, haven't we? Well, we're a few ticks off there, and we've had a drop, and we've made an attempt to push up, so this might not go up. A failed second entry short. Oh, okay, yeah. That one there. So, first entry failure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to take this back, so you'd expect it to. Okay, second entry long. I'm going to wait for that one because we've pushed up here. We've had some slightly bearish news. We have recovered, but whether we'll now continue up and break these highs, I'm not so sure. Yeah, I think you probably expect that to work, or at least to get, well, a few points out of it. Yeah, I'm not so sure here. Second entry long triggered. That's going to get stopped out, I think.
Order cancelled.
If it does work, it'll be a higher low rather. So, nice channel up there. We took out all this liquidity here. Very close to that. There may not be a huge amount there because it was pushing up, and just turned. So there may not be a huge amount of liquidity up there. But then we had some slightly bearish news which pushed down. We recovered 90% of it. And then we've dropped again. So whether we'll try another time or not, I'm not so sure whether we will or not. There's a failure there someone's taken. Just one trader. Trouble is, after this drop out, I'd rather just give it a bit of a time before I think what to do. It could come out and have another go. And not just that, it's stacking up a bit now. So if you took that tick below there, yeah, you made 2 points easy. But that's not for me, that just yet. Just in case. So leg down, sideways. I think it's likely we may get. Crypto's been dropping a bit, isn't it? It's not supposed to be a great month, September. Let's have a look. Bitcoin 56.5. It's nothing worse than sticking your money into someone and it just goes sideways for months. Yeah, it's hard to say, really, isn't it? Trouble is, we've had a break of this and we've got close to it, and we've come back and got. Oh well, there you go. Trouble is, there's no entry there really. Not on this, there isn't. There is a second entry long on the 1,000 tick chart, but prices under the EMA sloping down slightly. But it's holding price, so whether you want to go in there or not, I don't know. But 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is either going to drop here, or it's going to make a new high. Channel break. New high there by a tick. Boom. There we go. Yeah, I didn't notice that, mate. You're right, Sean. That ATR's high at the moment. It's above 4. So yeah, those bars are big. Thinking about it, I thought these were 2 points I was looking at. They're 5-point increments. So yeah, you got to be careful you don't get stuff there for a big. I kind of don't bother anymore. It just doesn't bother me. If I kind of just wait till I see a good trade and I take it. So 1, 2, 3 attempts to push higher, cleaned out any liquidity and anything left from the other day. If we get a nice lower high here, I may have a go. We'll see. So we've had a break. 1, 2 pushes up to a new high.
Order
Let's just
submitted.
see if we do get a lower high here. Yeah, that's what I like. Break 1, 2 pushes up. We like 2 pushes, don't we? News is done now. Let's see if this triggers. Yeah, as by a tick. It's cleared up any liquidity, so okay, that's killed that. Second entry short there, really. See if we get a failure. Oh well, technically it'd be a lower high, wouldn't it? We've broken that by a tick. So channel break, 2 pushes, new high, and we have just sometimes it'll do that, give a bearish bar, and then just have one little push, take out a few stops that may have gotten a bit early. But from what I'm seeing, I think this is likely going to come down. I think. I'd like that to trigger though.
Order submitted.
Quite a big risk, that is. $400.
Order filled.
Oh, what happened there? Oh, it just dropped super quick. I wonder what the hell happened there. Okay, so it clearly worked. Nice $300. Happy days. I wonder what the hell happened there. Everything went weird. It's one of those ones that move quick, move and knock you out quicker than you can see. So nice 3 points there. I tend to go for 3 points now, especially when the ATR is high. So that's a lower high. Trapping some longs there. We've been up here now plenty of times. Took out any liquidity there. Took out any liquidity there. Anybody who got on a little bit premature triggered. triggered out there, big drop down, bearish bar. You think there's a good chance this is coming down, at least to this area anyway. And there's a failure there as well. A failure there. That would make me a bit nervous, that would. Reason being, that's how I initially had that. So that may be a small break there, but I think this is probably going to come down to here. So I like the fact that it's trapped that by a tick as well, because there's probably going to be some traders still trying to go a little bit higher. So that's triggered. So I think there's a good chance that's going to get stopped out. And if it does, then I'll give you your points. If you stopped up here, that to me is a little bit too far, but I think it'll probably work. So if you went, say, a tick below there, is it going to take you out? You may be right. Cheers, Sam. Thanks, mate. I go for a flat 3 points now on this. It's a no-brainer to me. Did that get stopped out? It has now. It's just a little bit too far, that is really. It's gone down a little bit too far. I still think this will come down some more if we can get a couple of attempts to push up. So channel down, one attempt higher. Let's see if we get another attempt. PA accounts make 5. Actually, I'm wondering whether this thing is going to continue up. Let's have a look. I think I'm reacting better on 5. I think I went for 20. I think it was just too much. Trouble is, when you start to make, a little bit and you have a few payments here there, sometimes you think, okay, now I'm ready to go. You have 5 at the moment. Good on you, mate. I think sometimes you think, that's it, I'm ready to go to the big one. And then, well, Wilson did it, didn't he? And he lost about 3 or 4 lots of 20. So I think it's probably too much. As we know, anybody who's been trading a while knows, this business moves up in levels, doesn't it? You move, you take another step forward, you get used to it, you take another step forward. If you go too much too quick, it can all come crashing down, and it happens. We're all different. Some of us will go up nice and steady. I tend to dive in head first without thinking sometimes. That's one of my flaws, but I have learnt my lesson after losing the 2 of them. The 20 of them, but that's fine. That's okay. I got no issues with that. It's all part of learning. So I like the number I've got now. I think I'm not going to put another penny in until I can get a payment. So nice and steady, nice and slowly. So I like that. Channel up with a break. 2 pushes up to a new high. I often see that happen. Bearish bar, straight away, triggers, stops out and then comes down. So I try and pay attention to them. I try and avoid those. The trouble is you never know whether that's going to work or not. But if you've got a lower high there, after we've had 2 pushes up, there's a fair chance that's going to work, I think. Yeah, it is. So I would say if you're trading on an ATR, I'd say either half your risk and go down to 1 contract, or make sure you take a little bit of extra profit. At the moment, I've, at the weekend, I went through Marco's charts for the last month and a half, and I jotted it down on a bit of paper, 2 points from all the 2 points trades I'd have got that won, and 3 points for all the trades that had won 3 points. And I think I worked out I had something like 23 extra points profit by going for 3 points. And going from 2 to 3, it makes you 50%. Every 3 winning trades you have with 3 points, you can afford to lose a trade. So for me, I just want to try and get as much value as I can. So at the moment, on the 1200 tick chart, I go for a flat 2 points, 8 ticks, and this one, 3 points, 12 ticks. And especially at the moment, the ATR is double what it usually is, or close to that, 3 points, almost. Absolutely, yeah. But what I'd do if I was you is go and have a look at Marco's charts and look at his trades. He does mark the odd loss, but at the end of the day, if he marks all winners, that's fine. Because what you got to think, the losing trades won't make 2 points anyway. So, but even at the winners, if you look at your winners, look at the winners and just count 3 points for every winning trade, and then by the side of it, count 2 points and look at the difference in points. It's massive. In fact, let's just have a look at a couple of days, and I'll show you what I mean. You know what I mean anyway, I think of it. But I think 3 points is not bad at all, but it does make a massive difference in your profit. Let's pick on Marco, he won't mind. Dan's started putting a few trades on as well. Okay, so let's just bring this over quickly. Let's put it here. So if you look at Marco's trades, so let's have a look. So 1, 2, 3, all 3 of those made 3 points. Yeah, so if I'd have had 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, straight away, I'd be up 3 points there. So that is just, let me just get this right. That is just yesterday's. Why can I not move this all? Okay, so that's just yesterday's, all right? So let's have a look at the previous. So I'm 3 points up straight away, this one, okay? That made 3 points, that made 3 points. So 3, 4. I'm now 5 points more than the 2 points I usually get. So I'm 5 points up. So let's have a look at his next one. That one made 3 points. That one made 3 points. So 6, 5, 6, 7. I'm now 7 points up. So I could afford to lose 2 trades and still be in profit. So that one there made 3 points. That one there made 3 points. That one clearly did. So what am I up? What did I say? 5, 6, 7. 7. So 8, 9, 10. I'm now 10 points up. This one, 10 points up. That one, yes, it did. I'm now 11 points up. The difference between 2 and 3. Let's have a look. That chart's got jaundice. It makes my head go funny. That does. So with what did I say? 12 points up, something like that. 12. Where's his next trade? Marco again. So that one would have done. So that's 13 points up. Go back another couple of days. That one there. So that one did. That's 14, 15, 16. So I'm 16 points up straight away. Now, there's going to be some losers, but you're going to lose 2 points or 3 points. It doesn't matter. So 16 points. That worked. That worked. That worked. That worked. That 5 points. That worked as well on that one. So what would be 15 points, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 points up. I could afford to lose 6, 7 trades in a row. So, yeah, you get what I'm saying anyway. So, for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. There was a higher low there. I was looking at that on that 1,000-tick chart, but it's going a bit sideways and a bit choppy, so I'm not sure what's going on. But for me, 3 points is an absolute no-brainer. Notice 3 points where Mac starts his run at and makes sense of good target, yeah. Trouble is with Mac, when he takes a point, a lot of times it will come when he makes his scalp. A lot of times it'll come back and get his runner. So I think in a lot of cases you're better off just taking all your money in one go. But it depends on you. I think runners are more of a personal thing. But I see, like, for instance, I watched some of Thomas Wade, and I've seen it go 5 or 6 points in the direction, come back and take him out for break even. And I kind of think if you're going to wait for just the bigger moves, you'd be better off taking the extra 2 points every time. You get 5 trades, you can guarantee you're up 10 points. So, but I like 3 points. It's close to 1-to-1 most of the time. Now, the ATRs are a bit high at the moment, but if you say, for argument's sake, the ATR is around about 2.25, between 2.25 most of the time. So if you say 3 points is around about 1-to-1, I like 1-to-1, and that extra 1 point every time you take a winning trade, that'll cover your losses, more than cover your losses. So, and also now I'm just going to not mess around with me trades, just put it in and just leave it, unless it starts to go sideways. If I take a trade here and it starts to go like here, then I may get out for break even. But a lot of times when it goes so far, I'll be moving me stop. I'm just going to leave it now because I'd say sort of 4 out of 5 of my trades go on to make the full amount of points anyway. The ones I decided to get out of, so I'm still better off leaving them. I think if trading 3 points, you'll make more and lose more, meaning GAT is a must. Yeah. I tell you what, you'd be surprised how little don't go for 3 points. I'd say 80%, 8 to 9 out of 10 of your trades will go for 3 points. And you're making 50% profit. So every 3 winning trades you make, you could afford to lose one. But I mean, that one clearly did. The trade I took yesterday clearly did as well. Although I only went for 2 points because it was on the... and not only that, the beauty about going for 3 points, if I take 2 winning trades in a week and leave it there and do nothing else, that will make me over $2,000 per account. That's just 2 winning trades a week. So you've got to take, you can take less if you want. You can just wait for good solid entries twice a week. If you wait for good solid entries, you're going to win 9 out of 10 trades. And we all know the good entries go for a lot more most of the time. I mean, that thing there, what did that go for in the end? So if you took it a tick below there, that went for 6.5 points. That sort of ATR is a little bit higher than it normally is, but the good trades go for a lot. So that trade there that Brandt took, I would prefer that bottom sat on there for a perfect entry for me. But that one, same again, 6 points, comfortably doing 3. Some traders took that one there comfortably again for 3 points. So straight away, by taking 3 trades there, you're up an extra 3 points than if you took 2. So every 3 trades, you could afford to lose 1. So let's say, for instance, your win rate is 80%. So if you win 8 trades, you're up an extra 4 points. So straight away, that more than covers the loss of that 1. Max said at the beginning you should go for 1-to-1. Yeah, I think that's about right. I do. 1-to-1 is a good number. Now, obviously, it depends on the bar. I think for me, the simple thing to me is just to simplify it by going for 12 ticks. I've got mine set at 12 ticks. And I've gone through loads of people's charts, and I'm massively up. It's a no-brainer for me. Very, very few trades that you'll see, winning trades, don't go for 3 points. Very few. And you're making 50% extra straight away. So every 2 trades, you make it. It's a no-brainer for me. It only took him 5 to 10 years to accept that people make money and can actually be profitable by going for one-to-one. It took Mac 5 to 10 years, did it say? Is that what you mean? Yeah, you can do. See, I've always had that thing going through my head that why does Mac only take a point when he's been sitting at those charts for 25 years and he can clearly see that 95% of his trades go for over 2 points, where he could make 100% extra profit every trade. Why doesn't he do it? I've always had that going on in my head. Why only take a point? It doesn't make sense to me. But he's kind of... That's it, yeah, I agreed. You can't tell a 25-year-old trader he's doing it right. If he's been making money for 20 years... what do I know? But yeah, you're right. When someone's been doing it, why change it? But we all know, and we've been doing it long enough to know 1 point is such a tiny piece of what it actually goes for, and why kind of do it. But, we all know Mac knows how to read these charts like the back of his hand, and he'll make most of his money on his runners. So yeah, why change? If something's not broken and you're doing well, why change it? Some people are happy doing the same things. Some people are constantly looking for ways, but you have to respect everyone's decision. He's doing something that very few people are doing, making consistent money for most of his adult life. So you've only got to have respect for him, haven't you? So what is going on at the moment? It's just clearly just a bit choppy, isn't it? It's trying to go higher. I was just wondering whether we had something slightly bigger there. It's definitely trying. There may be a little spike in channel there. I don't like the fact that's only got so far up, but it has come right down here. So we've kind of got a leg and leg. So that might be a possibility. I don't think there's any way of enlarging that. Something doesn't look right there. So I would say the best I've got at the moment is a little spike and a channel, but could be a bunch of different things. It could just go sideways and come down. But that's a bit unusual like that. He does have some odd charts, Mac. He had one yesterday, didn't he? That went something like that. He does have some odd looking charts, I got to say. They don't kind of make sense to me, but you can't tell him he's doing anything wrong because obviously he's been doing it years. Yeah, it's comfort. In fact, I remember talking to Daniel about it. Why does he go for more? Why does he only still go for 1 point? He went, I find it hard enough to sit through 1 point, let alone 2. And even Daniel now goes for 6 ticks. My honest opinion, I think 6 ticks is minimum. 6 ticks is the start. I believe Marco goes for 6 ticks. Whether he's adjusted is because Marco is part of Thomas Wade's forum, and we all know Thomas Wade tends to go from 8 to 10 ticks. So whether he's adjusted that or not, I don't know. But it's kind of going sideways and up as well. Just not sure at the moment. There is a still slight upward bias, isn't there? bob. Going for 1 point in today's market is like going for 1 tick in 10 years. Yeah, it is. Yeah, things have changed. If you look, I find it interesting sometimes if I'm bored, I go back and look at some of Mac's old videos, and I've seen him put 2 ticks under a signal bar, 1 tick above the signal bar, and the still total risk's only 1.75 points. But we know things have changed. You know, market's a lot more volatile now. There's way more people trading the markets that used to, you know, back when Mac started. So it's just like anything. You know, if you own a big supermarket or a store and your tins of beans go up in price, you have to put your profit up with them. You can't just, you know, have your output or your investment cost more and more and not change your profit level. You know, you sell petrol and your retail price goes up, your costs go up, you have to put your profits up. It's the same as everything. Otherwise, you end up paying for other people to make money. Yeah, it is. Do you know what, S2, when I first started, I remember working my ass off and really trying to be disciplined and take the best trades. And I took 4 winning trades in a row over a few days. I was really pleased with myself. And that was like like $50. So I was up like $200 minus fees. And I took 1 loss and it put me in the red. So that tells you, even at 80%, it's not enough to be profitable. And that's crazy, isn't it, really? Telling someone if they got an 8% win rate, they're not even going to break even. It's crazy. Yeah, for me, it's 6.6 ticks minimum now. But I think, I think 2 points really is sort of minimum. But I think, Brant, don't you go for 1-to-1? I think 3 points or 1-to-1 or somewhere around about there is kind of the sweet spot. But, you know, you have to do your research. You have to look through your charts, look at all your winning trades. See a bad trade, you're not even going to get 2 points. But just on the odd occasion, one may get 2.5 points but won't get 3. But it's a very small number. And considering you're making 50% extra profit every trade. But minimum 6 ticks. Yeah, there is on odd occasion, if I'm taking something in quite a tight range, where I will take 1.5 points. It's crazy not to sometimes, but, you know, $150 per account, you can't turn your nose up at it sometimes. The trouble is with 1-to-1 as well, you've got to get this tool out and start working it out. And I find it a bit of you could go with the money, but going for 1-to-1, obviously, if you get a big 4.5 point bar and you go for 4.5 points, it may not work. So I kind of just like the 3 ticks, just like that way I put me stop to where it needs to go and I just leave it on me 12 ticks and just let it work. I've got to start just leaving me trades. We've all heard Mac talk about not monkeying with your trades. Now, if it starts to go up and starts to go sideways like that, that tells you that the chance of you winning the trade may be a little bit less. So getting out, I think, is fine there. But in general terms, when you go for a trade, you just got to set it and let it go, haven't you? But the beauty is going for 3 points. If all you take is 2 really good quality trades in a week, that's over $2,000 a month. Probably put that there now. It's even better. So we've got a leg up. It doesn't even look like a correction, that, does it? We just got a leg up, and that was obviously with the news. We just had a drop and a recovery, and then a couple of attempts to go lower, and then we'll work it up. So Where are we likely to go? Funnily enough, we've got a little push up and a bounce there yesterday. So I think it likely we get to this area. Channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. So maybe a short day for me tomorrow. It's my daughter's 16th birthday tomorrow, so she's at home. My wife's got the day off, so I may not trade. I probably will for a bit, but not for long, because I think we'll be going out for dinner. Well, I don't know if some of you guys have got kids, but I'll tell you something. Time doesn't half fly while your kids are young. Make the most of it. Time just disappears. Price may be heading to a larger measured move, which is not far off now. Yeah, I've got this leg up there. 720 is all-time high, so up here. So we did have that big pullback yesterday, and I think this is going to get a chunk of it back. Let's have a look. I don't think this is a bigger channel, or at the moment anyway. No, not just yet. So interesting on the... There is a second entry long there. It's very interesting, that is, leg and a leg. Something has put me off that, and I can't put my finger on it. I haven't been focusing on this properly. My only issue is, based on this, it's stagnant, and I wouldn't go long there, so this to me is a risk, and I'm glad I left it. Very glad I left it. I'll be amazed if this doesn't get stopped out. Yeah, it has. Good choice to leave it. It just didn't feel right. Yeah, I'm not keen about taking something right around this midline. I'm concerned about this for some reason, because we're working around this midline, which means it could push up or it could come down. There is a possible long failure there, but I wouldn't want to go short. But equally, I'm not really in the mood to go long at the moment, because that to me is, having said that, you could consider it a little failed breakout. But I don't like it when it's going around here. It's kind of chopping. But yeah, it's just you got to pay attention to that. Just because it goes up doesn't mean it was a good trade. You could say it's maybe like a small failed breakout there, but it's not just this that's concerning me. It's this whole area. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. When it's whipping up and down like this, it could just come down to here. We've gone from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom, and we've only pushed up, and we're just hovering around this centre line. So you don't know, it could push up to the top or it could come down to the bottom, but especially when I'm up a nice 3 points, the last thing I want to do is do something stupid. You're in the second entry long, that one there. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad trade. I just don't like it when it's flitting around this middle line. See, I find there's a difference in my decision making when I'm up. I may consider that if I hadn't taken a trade today, but when I'm up 3 nice points, the last thing I want to do is give it all back. Not even sure I like this channel, in all honesty. Arthur is Apex PA fee for 50. Yes, they are, mate. My code's not working at the moment, bud, for some reason, but you can just put in, I think save 80 will give you it as well. My code's not, I'm waiting for a message back from, they're a bit slow today. But yes, it is $85 at the moment for the PA fee. You're right, mate. Yeah. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. I've just dropped, second entry long there. Channel up. perfect little measured leg. It's going to have to be a higher low, I'm afraid, to get me into that. Is it going to work? Probably. We've got a little leg and a leg. It is a second entry long, but I'm going to wait for a higher low, I think. As I say, I don't really want to be going long while price is below that EMA just at the moment. Excuse me. Are you still using Guardian Angel Trader? Just got it working on setup. Yeah, it takes a bit of fiddling. Yeah, I use it so that 2 losses, it won't let me trade again. And I can only trade from 2 p.m. to 6 or 6:30. I think it's 6 p.m. So that's the simplest way for me to do it. I did have it set that I can't take a trade after 10 minutes, but I don't seem to have a problem with jumping straight in at the moment, so I took that off the table. But yeah, can't trade after 6, can't trade before 2, and 2 losses, it pulls me out the game for the day. It's nice to have that protection. I'm not far off having no issues with it, but just on the odd occasion something goes wrong with your psychology for the day. It just gives you that little bit of protection. So that did work, clearly for a couple of points. Thought it may do, but I just didn't want to take something that low just in case. I just need that little help too. Yeah, it does. I think it helps you break the habit, but I think it for whatever. I think it's $399 for you guys. I think it was £300 for me, £300 for me. I think it's worth its weight in gold. It's only got to save you a few accounts and you've got your money back. So yeah, if you're in a habit and you still have that little bit of moment of weakness, I occasionally get it, not as much as I did, but I think it's a real helping hand just to sort of drag you out the mud when you start to sink up to your knees. So yeah, I think it's a great bit of software. I am hearing more and more people use it. I did wonder what Apex would how they'd feel, but I can't see a problem. This is interesting. I don't think this is a bigger channel. I think for me, it's this. I actually prefer this. In which case, that was an okay trade to take. I don't like that bigger channel at the moment. Yeah, that fits nice to me. That was not a bad trade now, I think. A leg and a leg. Still a polished bar, although it's a little bit red. It's still finishing in the top third comfortably. In fact, that's the top 25%, so it's good enough, I think. Yeah, this to me is a break. 2 pushes up to a new high. We get a correction, and then this is going up. So I don't think it's a bigger channel. I kind of like that, I think. There is a higher low there, but that to me is just the main body of it is just a little bit too far from that EMA. I prefer that sitting there really to get me. Trouble is we can have a leg and a leg. Mr. Wade's just changed his as well to that now. So that's good. Yeah, I don't think there is a larger channel there. To me, it's just a little bit vague, I think. There could be, but I think that's much better working out how it is like that. It's working really nice there. It's fitting beautifully there. Touch, 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 touch. Even there, and it visually looks okay. Started off in this lower tier, then in the top tier, 2 legs back, and now we're working here. So I like that. If it's not a pain, what is the cliff note on the newer Apex rules for PAs? I can't find the summary. What is the cliff note? I'm not sure, but anybody else help there by any chance? Mac has it drawn in a range. That doesn't surprise me. I don't see how that isn't the channel and that isn't the channel. I'm not saying there's not a bigger range, but don't tell me is Mac doing it something like that? Is he something like that? I don't know. I don't, tell him he's wrong or say no, it's not that. But yeah, but for me, I don't see how you can't tell that's a channel. Now the overall, it may be a range at your support line. Yeah. Well, I've got I'm kind of aware that this could turn out to be sideways. Put it that way. I don't doubt that it may be 2 channels in a range, but ultimately, if the way I see it is, if you're gonna if it's in a range, you want to be buying the tops and selling the bottoms. Now, normally in a range, you won't want to go long 3/4 of the way up there, but we've got a nice channel working up, and there is a nice second entry long there. I had a bigger channel drawn, so for me, but I think you can't deny that's not a bad looking trade. But ordinarily. So you meant your resistance line as it's, yeah. I mean, look, if you put it there, you can say, yeah, it's kind of going sideways, but there's clear upward bias. You can't deny that. Right from, we had this big drop initially, then we had a bounce, a retest, and then a bounce and made a new low, and then we took off in a channel. The news took us down. We recovered immediately. We had a break, pushed up, made a new high from this, and then we had that nice correction, and we're going up in a nice channel. So you have to trade this as an uptrend. When it gets to a level up here, I mean, saying it's a range, we've only been up here once today, so to get a range, really, you've got to touch it 2 or 3 times. So for me at the moment, it's not really a range. The overall may be a range later in the day, but for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's clear 2 legs up. Just looking at some of Thomas Wade's forums, he's got it the same. Thomas has got it the same. I'm not saying there isn't something larger there, but I mean, what's it had this? Something like that. And yeah, it was kind of sideways, but now we're up and out of it. So I think at the moment, really, I don't think it's important about using range rules at the moment. Range rules, you'll be short on the tops, buying the bottoms, but you don't want to be short in any of this, really. I think that short there was probably the last one to take here, because after this, a break, 2 pushes to a new high, we have a correction then, and then it's working up. You can't really short this, but you don't really want to be short in this. We pushed up, we had 2 legs back there, bounced off here, that worked up nice and strong, so don't want to be buying the tops in a range. No, that's what I meant. You want to be buying the bottoms and selling the tops. But at the moment, I don't think range rules are here at the moment. You have to trade this as just a channel, buying the bottoms and selling up here. But this is not what I call a typical range day. Now, if we end up coming down at the bottom and going up and coming down again, yeah, it will be. But at the moment, we've just clearly got 2 legs up. We got overnight highs here, overnight lows down here. But if we broke, we've tried. I mean, we even tried there to come down and couldn't, and we've tried again there and couldn't. There's definitely an upward picture today for me personally. Look, we've got perfect measured leg there, see, so you can clearly see it's 2 legs up. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. So you can see how it's reacting to that measured move. We got up one, see if this comes down now. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Thomas Wade's as well, it's not looking like a range. I'm saying that there is a little bit of, you could say a few bounces here, but we've pushed up, bounce, up, down, down, and then we're up here again. So not what I would call a normal looking range day. It's not your typical range day. We've got some sideways movement here, maybe a bit here, but this to me is a drop from the news, a recovery, a break, a push up to a new high. So this has made a new high, that's moved out, and that is all played out now. Then we have a really nice looking correction, and then it starts to work up again for a second leg. So this is just 2 legs really, which are perfectly tradable. Longs all the way up, long this, long some of here if you want. Maybe take a punt here. Definitely there. I had a bigger channel at the moment, but clearly working up. Now we broke that measured leg. Who knows? Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm getting a bit thirsty. So, where's my thingy? So, yeah, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a quick cup of tea. We'll be back. Right, what have I missed? Nothing really. Okay, up to the top again. Nicely up to the top of that channel. Measured move clearly played out beautifully. Now what's going on? Are we going to continue to come up? Work up. Maybe a bigger channel. Maybe, I'm not sure. But that one fits perfectly anyway. So the measured moves played out. So I'd expect some sort of a correction again, I think. Maybe a tiny overshoot there, but I think it's negligible. So I think we'd like to see a correction now. So channel with a break. So let's see if we get a nice correction now. Something like that. Oh. Just pass. Good on you, mate. Done. Do you know if they still have the 85 for lifetime? Yes, I believe they do. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Let's have a look. What have I got it at? Yes, it is, mate. You're all good to go. Yeah, it's quite a big deal, that, isn't it? It's quite a saving, really. It's about $55 saving. Well, that's for the 50k. If you got a 150, it's yes, correct. 15th. Yeah, if you got the 150, it's normally, what is it? It's normally about $300, isn't it? I think something like that. $250, $300. So yeah, $85. It's quite a dent. Yeah, good on you, mate. All helps. Oh, good. Bitcoin's starting to move up again. Thank Christ for that. Nice. It did drop down to 55 something. It's 57.5 now. Come on, get moving. Happy days. I was in two minds to stick another £2,000 into crypto or trade my own account with £2,000. I'm just wondering which I got more chance of becoming profitable on. I think at the moment probably crypto. I think. Okay, so hopefully we get a correction, and if we do and it continues on up, I like that anyway. There are one or two that said that may be no issue. I think it's negligible. Do both. Trade BT futures. What I tend to do with I have had a play around with that, but what I tend to do is I like buying it, like spot. So I like just buying it. So say, for instance, Bitcoin drops 10%, 15%. I like to buy it because usually when we're in a bull run, we'll recover that. So it's like almost like a guaranteed way of making a 10% or something like that. Now, professional traders, you hear professional traders talking about if they can make 20% profit a month. Now, if we get a bit of a bloodbath in the crypto market, but that's what I mean. If it decides to go the other way, you just hold it. You can more or less guarantee you're not going to lose on it. Okay, if you buy it right at the top of the bull market, then it's probably going to drop. But as long as you hold on to it, it'll recover. And the beauty about, obviously, as price goes down, you can dollar cost average. You buy it at 50 grand and it comes down to 20 grand and you buy one, it's around about 33,000 you've paid. So, there is a way of averaging out the price. So it's a kind of a way to get into buying cryptos and to try and make a little bit in swinging it, but without worrying about completely losing it. But the more I read about Bitcoin, the more I listen to people like Michael Saylor talk about it. It's going to be the future. It's going to be worth a fortune. Very few people are going to own them because obviously there's the Bitcoin halving every so often. So from what I can gather, it's the future and it's a great way to invest. There are companies putting billions and billions into it. I think the sensible thing is to follow the people that know. But yeah, there may be a small overshoot there, but it's not massively convincing one. So this to me looks like a correction or an all-out reversal. See, this will tell us a lot whether we're in an overall range or a hodly, yeah. I do also follow what's his name? The crypto guru guy. He's surprisingly accurate. James, the crypto guru guy. I think he's originally from New Zealand but lives in Dubai now. Trouble is, I do feel sorry for newer guys. Now, when I first got into crypto around about 2 or 3 years ago, I got absolutely battered because coming to the top of the bull run, I never knew nothing about crypto, and you got so many of these gurus saying, yeah, buy this, buy that, and I listened to them all and got into, and I bought some shit coins, I really did. I bought a coin called Saitama, or STC as it's called now. I put about £600 in it. At one point it got up to 2,000, then it just tanked. And I think it came down to about $20. So I put in 600. It came down to $20. It's worth about 60 now. So as long as the coin doesn't collapse, I'm pretty sure it'll probably go up. Second entry long. I'm a bit on the fence about this at the moment. Because one or two things are going to happen. It's either going to come down, it's going to go sideways, or it's going to go up. And I think there's a possibility of it ranging a bit, so that stock might get eaten up. So at the moment, while I figure out what it's doing, that's a bit dangerous. Yeah, you know about that one there. That one didn't trigger me. That one did, and then stopped out. So I'm a bit on the. I tend to leave those at the moment just to try and work out what's going on, whether we're coming down. We have had a measured move. Some may say there's a small overshoot, so we could get a deeper correction. We could get an all-out reversal. It could bounce off here and end up another 60 points further up. But at the moment, I'm a bit unsure exactly what's going on. Remember the Elon Musk pump and dump on? Yeah. I mean, I have some in Bitcoin. I have some in Ethereum. I have some in Solana. I like Chainlink. I read a lot of good things about that. AI is a big thing at the moment. So I've got some Render, I've got some Ondo, and I've got some Gala from Gala Games. So I've got quite a diverse mixture of them. And obviously I've got some in Bitcoin and some in, tend to be the safer ones. But Solana's coming good at the moment. I just can't believe I bought 40 Solana for $18 and sold them from 23. Could have made a ton of money there. But, we are supposed to be in the bull run now at the moment, aren't we? We are stagnant. We've been stagnant for the last 5 or 6 months, but from everything I read, from, listening to people like Michael Saylor and looking about how the bull runs work and all that, I think it's going to be the latter part of this year and maybe 6 to 9 months of next year. But if I was a young lad, again, if I was 18 or 20 and I could get my hands on a few $1,000s, I'd stuff it straight into Bitcoin, put it on a cold wallet and lock it away for 20 years and then retire. I think from so many studies I've seen and certain experts talking about Bitcoin, we're so in the early days of crypto at the moment and digital. Cash isn't going to exist in the future, is it? We don't. Who carries it now? I rarely carry cash. The only time I ever get cash is if we buy a Chinese. But apart from that, I always pay. I mean, I got an Apple Watch, so I just pay on my watch on my phone. So I haven't, I can count in the last 6 months how many times I've got cash out. So it's not going to exist in the future. I think there's going to be some sort of a universal digital currency. Some countries have even adopted, hasn't something like one of the South American countries, is it Brazil or something, who's adopted Bitcoin as like a second currency. I think that's the way the world will go at some point in the future. A universal digital currency. So look at that, interesting. So we've had a correction back up to the EMA, and that thing's dropping like a stone. A couple have, I think more and more will. I think this is interesting. This just gives me that impression it's just going to drop. So seeing that come down, what I will do is just do that. That could be one leg. Yeah, but I mean, it would have been nice to get into Bitcoin about 10 years ago, wouldn't it? When you'd have made some real money. Trouble is, you never quite know how the world's going to work, do you? And we all know if Trump gets in, he supports crypto. So I think that'll be good for crypto. So we got rate cuts likely in a couple of weeks, which may aid the crypto market. You got the elections in, I think, November. If Trump gets in, that'll be good for crypto. Oh, I don't know. Has anybody seen that guy that does impressions of Donald Trump? He's absolutely brilliant. He was doing like a Mickey take of him talking about crypto. It was brilliant. He's really good. He's the best I've seen. So, no, not me. I live in the UK, bud. I live in the UK. We've got an idiot in power at the moment, Keir Starmer. Just cut the fuel, extra fuel payment for pensioners. That'll cause a few pensioners to lose their life. I think that's ridiculous. Older people have been paying tax in this country and fought for this country, and now they're going to be worse off. I think it's disgraceful. You got to look after the older generation. They're the bit that sort of gave us everything, gave us our freedoms and all that sort of stuff. But he seems to be going in all guns blazing. They are kicking off about it, so whether he'll change the policy or not, I don't know. But I voted for Nigel Farage, I did. Same again with all the illegal immigrants coming in. The issue I have, and I've had this conversation with my sister, she said, well, they deserve the right to come into a safe country. I said, well, I agree, but they've come through about half a dozen safe countries before they get to Britain. You can't get a dentist appointment for love and the money over here. Doctor's appointments can take weeks because there's so many people coming into the country. They come into the country, they get free paid accommodation, they get a mobile phone, they get money, and yet the country's crippled on its knees. Yeah, I voted for Farage, I did. I know he's a bit rough around the edges, but I kind of like him. So this is interesting. Through the back door for free benefits, they don't. We have vets living on the street. I know, it's crazy. We've got ex-military and servicemen living on the streets, and if you come into this country on a rubber dinghy, you get put up in a 4-star hotel in a lot of cases. I think it's wrong. It's not right. You know, and this fuel payment thing for the pensioners, I think it's wrong. They always get this extra fuel payment to keep them warm during the winter, because a lot of them die because they can't afford. Old people won't get into debt. They won't live on credit cards like a lot of us do. You know, they'll live to their means, and if they're not, you know, if they haven't got the money, they won't put their eating on, and a lot of them lose their life in the winter. That's why they brought this winter payment. You know, and it's a lot of your pensioners that fought in the Second World War and went through hard times, you know, to give us all the things, and they seem to suffer the most, and I think it's wrong. I think you need to look after the kids, and I think you need to look after the older people, and the rest will sort of take care of itself. The poor buggers will end up down the channel, yeah. It's bad, really. I mean, there was a picture going around on Facebook a few days ago of pensioners, lots of white pensioners with old grey curly hair coming in on boat, re-entering the country, so they end up getting money. It's crazy. It's unfair, really. I mean, the older generation, you know, they've spent all their lives working hard, put money into the tax system, and this government just throws it away on illegal immigrants. You know, if anybody's persecuting their country, they're coming from a war-torn country, I think, you know, I'd want to get out with my kids. But my issue is when they come through half a dozen other countries that are safe countries, and they come from France, which is a perfectly safe country, safe in the European Union, but they come to Britain because they know we're sort of an easy target. And that's the issue I have. It annoys me when there was that young girl that ended up getting crushed. She got into a boat with her dad. She ended up getting crushed and losing her life because he wanted to come here for easy money instead of staying in France. And that poor girl ended up losing her life. I think it's disgraceful. Excuse me. But I know there's taxes to be cut and stuff like that. But you see a lot of these, you know, MPs, they get second homes paid for. Hell, I think they can claim up to £400 for a bloody blender. It's ridiculous. They get really looked after. They get paid well. Most of them are rich anyway. I mean, Rishi Sunak's wife was a non-dom from, I think, India or somewhere around there, was making millions without paying tax. And when people found out, they changed it. And I just think it's wrong. The rich seem to get richer and the poor get poorer. I understand people who got choices. I understand people who have businesses and make a lot of money. They stick their neck out. They take risks. I get that. You know, I don't think they should be taxed any more than the rest of us. But I certainly think all these second homes and all these big claims that these MPs can come for. No, I don't agree with it. It should go to the older people who can't work, and people who may have only small pensions and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. A lot of the time they clock in and out of Westminster. We see them in Parliament, don't you? Falling asleep, and they're getting what, X amount of hundreds a day just to clock in. No, it's wrong. I think they need to start at home, really. It is wrong. They had the expenses scandal. Was that about 10 years ago? They were just ripping the country off. I think it's wrong. They call it public service. Right. Are we going to turn this into a larger channel? I tried this a little while ago. Let's give it a go now. I don't like the overshoot. But what I will say is sometimes I've seen Matt cut that off because of the news. So we could do that. So that's a possibility. Obviously, if that continues to come down, then maybe not. But just for now, we'll leave it alone. See where this is going. Yeah, we all get old, don't we? You've got to be looked after when you've worked hard your whole life. You've paid tax into the tax system. It's crazy. You earn money, you pay tax. You spend your money, you pay tax. You save money, you pay tax. You end up getting money from your parents when they die, you pay tax. It's an absolute rip-off. I'd love to know how much of a percentage you actually earn from your wages, which you get to keep. You know, pay petrol, you paid ridiculous amount of tax. Crazy. Goods and services, VAT. It's mad. Person that put a couple of £1,000 worth of expenses in a motor ducks. All the taxpayers' expenses. It's crazy, isn't it? In fact, a couple of MPs, if I remember, went to prison for that because they were really swindling the books. They were. Bad. It's bad. I don't agree with people earning money. I don't agree with people. I mean, I don't disagree with people earning money. I don't disagree with people earning a fortune as long as they've earned it. I think it's fair enough. You know, I mean, if I had the chance to earn £500,000, £1 million a year, I'd jump all over it. Of course I would. You know, but people go on about these football players getting paid £250,000, £300,000 a week, but they pay a ton of tax, so they do pay back in. You know, I don't disagree with anybody making money. I think if they can earn it, good luck to them, because I'd want to earn it. But you pay more than your fair share of tax. But the government just bloody waste it. Especially our government. So, this is interesting. Yeah, so this is showing an overshoot and this. So... Yes, they do. Exactly right, bud. Exactly right. A lot of people have issues with people who make a lot of money. I don't. I think if you can make it, you're shrewd enough to go out there and earn it, to take the risks, to work hard to earn it. Why shouldn't you? I know some people earn. I mean, we look at movie stars. Look at people like Tom Cruise. What does he charge? $60 million, something like that, for a film? People are willing to pay him. You can't moan at him for taking it. I'd take the damn thing. I'd love to earn $60 million for something. Average taxpayer works out maybe before they're really putting money in your pocket. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? I think, I don't know, is it 49% in this country, the high tax rate? So you're paying half. But then obviously all the other things you buy, every time you pay fuel, you're paying a chunk of tax. Every time you buy alcohol, you're paying a chunk of tax. You know, buy any type of goods and services, you're paying tax, you're paying VAT. You know, we all pay our fair share into it, but money's just been wasted. They come up with these stupid schemes, put an absolute fortune into them that don't end up following through. Crazy. Right. Now, I've got overshoots on both of these. We're fitting really nice along there. That's an overshoot. We've had a strong, whether this is a correction or not, I don't know. I mean, it could turn into a range day. There, it's just clearly two legs with a big, definitely bullish bias going up. But now this thing's coming back. Who knows where it's going to go? Who knows? Dubai, I'd like to go. Whether it'll ever happen or not, I don't know. Just for a bit of sun seeing sand and some tax-free. I mean, there's loopholes in this country for taxpayers to try and not pay tax. You can't blame them if the government is stupid enough to leave loopholes in the system. But equally, if you overcharge, you know, the higher earners too much, they'll just take the business. It started to happen a bunch of years ago. They started moving things like call centres and factories and stuff like that, putting the work out to the Far East. It's crazy. So there's kind of two legs up there. That's actually a second entry short. Trouble is, with that overshoot, it could have a steeper pullback. It kind of has. It could have a full-out reversal. It may do. And then sometimes I'll see Mac doing that. So maybe that doesn't look so bad after all. So would you take a lower high there, or would you say, no, you've got to give it a little bit more time because of the possible overshoot? I think that trade's a little bit risky because of the overshoot. If I think there's an overshoot, I'll avoid the next kind of setup. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but it's hard to say at the moment. You need to skip the first, second entry. Yeah, I generally do, or at least give it chance to have a nice correction. But yeah, I've been caught out on those, so I tend to just avoid that first one. It may work. But it's, yeah, I mean, there's kind of legs, but that to me is just a small little, that's the overshoot pulling in, but that's really more of a leg, isn't it? But sometimes it'll still work. If it's bearish enough, it may still work. But that's just a bit risky for me. Could be one leg up, two small legs back, and then up again. Look at that now, starting to pull back already. Start with bullish and balance on the left, yeah. I mean, sometimes, regardless of whatever you do, sometimes, you know, the worst looking trade in the world will work beautifully, as we know, but we've still got the rules, haven't we? And after an overshoot, it can do a bunch of things. It could be an all out. I mean, at the end of the day, we've had this big two legs up. So this could be a pullback to sort of connect with something so it could go up. Bounced off overnight highs. Yes, it has, yeah. So this could go up. But I would expect that lightly going to get stopped out. And if that one does, quite possibly that one as well. It may not. We may try 3 times and the thing may tank, but I wouldn't want to be in that trade now, put it that way. What does the 2000 tick chart look like? This doesn't look as scary. Mind you, there is a failure there. Technically, there's a second entry long there, which is triggered. So it could come down this. It's hard to say. So there is a failure there. There's going to be longs in there. So this is probably going to come down. I'm still staying out of it, though. I'd be inclined to move that just a smidgen. If it gets below here, it may be okay, but at the moment it does look a little bit sideways. I think it may work, but it's irrelevant really. Yeah, it has done. So you've probably got something off that, but it's still just too risky. Those will fail just as much as they won't. So it clearly worked. And then if it continues down, then we could open that up. But yeah, after an overshoot like that, you've got to really avoid the next trade, especially in the direction. And there is a lower high there. There is a failure there, but it's stacking up and you just don't know. It might just pop above there and then drop. So it's always best to stay out of them. Yeah, EMA's holding on here. We tended to be above it and below it on the 1200 tick chart, so that was giving us slightly more of a vague picture. But that little sort of higher low there, or whatever you want to call it, second entry long triggered. I think it triggered anyway. Maybe it didn't. But it just moved over and then just dropped. So, do you know what? So I was wondering whether this looks like a bit of a spike in the channel, but no, I don't think it is. No, I forget I said that. So let's just have a quick look at this. So we've had these two legs up and we've had a 50% pullback there. So we've had a little break. So this could continue on up. It's always possible. So channel break. Attempted a new low. First attempt at a new low. Okay, channel down, one attempt to push higher. Let's see what happens now. Uh, 1200 tick chart. You could say channel down, 2 attempts to go lower and a bearish bar. But after that overshoot, I don't know what's going on. We made a couple of attempts to break these lows, so I'm just sitting tight at the moment. It's just a bit unclear. I don't really want to get into a short trade here just yet. I'd rather one attempt to push higher, this go a bit higher up to here and fail. So that's more penguin. So one leg. A second leg, something like that I'm looking for really. And then for it to fail. But we are bouncing off that 50% level, so have another look at that. Yeah, we've bounced twice right off that 50%, so boom, boom. So also, if we have had that overshoot, this could be just a larger correction. See, there's a second entry short there on the 1200 tick chart, but I'd like that to go up a little bit higher really. Okay, leg down. One attempt, second attempt. Let's see what happens now.
Order submitted. Well, that's a big risk. I don't know if I really want to get in that much. See where it closes. See if it gives us a lower high or something. Yes, I am, bud. Yeah.
too much of a risk. I don't really want to risk 19 ticks there. Well, tick above, tick below. I could jump in here somewhere. Got a channel down, 2 attempts to push up, bearish bar. What platform? I traded on Ninja Trader, but through Tradeovate. It's a lot quicker and cleaner than Rhythmic. Everything opens quicker. Isn't available yet. My Funny Futures, yeah, absolutely it is, yeah. Yeah, but when you sign up, you click on Tradeovate, but then you go into Ninja Trader and do it through there. So yeah. Yeah, I think you may be thinking of, is it Take Profit Trader? There is one that isn't available, or is it Fast Track? Sorry, there is one that isn't available on Ninja Trader yet. It may be Fast Track. Fast Track Trading. It seems to be quite good, that, but it's expensive. Yeah, there is one that isn't available, but yeah, My Funny Futures definitely is. So, interesting. So we've had an overshoot. So there is a lower high there. That's interesting. It's big risk, so it's 14 ticks. I think I may just sit out of this. Yeah, I've got a leg with 2 attempts to push higher. Bearish bar. We pushed up again. I did another bearish bar, but I just don't want to really risk that much at the moment. And there could be a second entry long. So where is this going? It's hard to say. It started off nice and bullish, so there's always a possibility. Well, we know this is a 50% pullback on the day, so see if we get a failure here. Second entry long triggers, and there's a possible short long failure there. So 1,000 tick chart, possible second entry long, set it up. Could go up. Just sitting out, bear flag. Yeah, there kind of is really, isn't there? So, possible second entry long. If this triggers, I think it may trap some longs. Let's see what happens. I'll be some traders in there, I'm sure of it. See, there'll be shorts there, so there'll be 2 lots of stops, I think. So if it gets above there, it might clear that out. I mean, this could be a bounce and up. There's always that possibility. It actually doesn't look bad on the 1200 tick chart. Yeah, it is. So it'll take that out as well. Yeah, so good move to decide. That's the trouble with, you know,
order cancel.
This penguin style strategy, that is kind of a nice setup. Channel down, 2 attempts, bearish bar close. If I'd taken that, I'd have lost. So it just goes to show me, I think, really, I need to be careful learning a new strategy, although it's very similar, because it's very easy to get caught out there because I don't understand it as much as I understand Pat's. The issue I have with that lower high, yeah, it's looking like it might work. The issue I have is, one, an overshoot. That can affect it in multiple different ways. And two, so far it's quite a bullish day. And we know that is a 50% pullback. It's bounced twice there. Twice we've struggled to get through there. So you have to take that into consideration as well. And it could move up from there. So it is about experience and making a judgment call. But you know, a while ago, I'd have just jumped straight in there without thinking. But now, I mean, you know, whatever style you trade, you have a little bit more time to think than you think you do. Sometimes you think you've got to panic and jump straight in. But I mean, if we still hadn't broke that, yeah, you could get an on limit order. There's a bunch of stuff you can do, but it's, you know, trades don't always work that quick enough that you've got to make a rash decision. You do have time to think. But I don't know, you know, going back a year or so, how many times I just jumped straight into that sell button and it stopped me out and I'd be in trouble. You could say that's a possible triple test now, but absolutely, mate, absolutely. See, I've done a trade today. You can see it there on that PA account. $300, and that's traded to the rest of them. So let's say I just had the one account for argument's sake. $300. If I took two of them in a week, that's $600 a week. So over 4 weeks, let's say that's 12, that's 24, that's $2,500. So that's 8 trades, $2,500. I can afford to take a loss there. And that's still $2,000. So look at that. So that 2 legs up, it triggered, stopped out by a tick, and then it dropped like a stone. That's so bloody annoying, isn't it? So those 2 pushes up, I'm glad I left that alone because just, I don't know, something didn't feel right. So it's more like a triple test, isn't it? Well, technically that was a triple test, but let's call that one move before it came back, a second move and a third move, but we didn't really have a decent signal bar to short that. But yeah, if you just get 2 3-point trades a week, you make all the money you want. I think the only issue is at the moment with Apex, you've got to trade for 10 days. So if you're only taking 2 trades a week, you may struggle to do that. But only 2 trades a week is kind of the minimum, really. I'm hoping we get something from Apex in the next week or so. They did tell us a couple of weeks we were going to get some new information about these changes. One, I hope they're getting rid of this recording of trades. I think it's ludicrous, personally. I get why they're doing it. You know, it's the thing I put on the Facebook group. There are some companies now advertising, we'll pass your evaluation for you, we'll do your trades for you. So I understand Apex is issue they've got with people trying to do things like that. You can't allow it, really. You have to do something about it. But ultimately, the people that are getting asked to record them trading, I understand that they're saying, well, hold on a minute, I've paid me money, I'm following the rules, why have I got to prove it? So I kind of understand it from both sides. But I'm hoping that these new system or these new rules of Apex will stop us having to do that. 200 a day, every day for 10 days, 2,000. Yeah, absolutely. You don't need a lot of trades, do you? You know, when I started out, I was taking 6 or 8 trades a day, losing half of them. No, you don't. You just need to pick the best of the best. But it does take time to be able to do that. Yes, I know, yeah. He got told to make a video, apparently. And I got to say, if I was waiting for 1.8 million, I had to make a video, I'll be pretty, like on that email, I'll be pretty nervous. Yeah, 90%. Well, look, let's think about this. If I took 2 trades a day, a week, good quality trades, you'd expect to win at least 80%. So let's say 2 trades a day, and I win 8 trades. So that's $2,600 in a month. Let's say $2,500. Let's say I lose one. So win 8, lose 1. That takes it down. That's comfortably over $2,000. I mean, let's say even half of that, even $1,000. If you've got 20 accounts, you've earned all the money you need to, really. So 93 times wow, 93. Cool. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he trades. Yeah, I wonder what his strategy is. Something's working. 1.8 million. Yeah, I believe he's been paid, though. I did hear that he was asked to make a video. They have a group. What, this guy? Oh, do they really? That's interesting. 1.8 million. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you can trade and trade well, money is no object then. Money will just follow you. So, break, 2 pushes, however you want to do this, triple test, new low. So is this going to go up? Who the hell knows? Okay, I'm going to knock it on the head there, I think, folks. I'm up a nice $300 per account today. Got a nice 3-point trade. I've been going 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I think I'm done for the day. I'm happy. I don't intend on giving it back. Look, have a great day, folks. I hope you get a trade. Sorry my code isn't working at the moment. I'm still waiting for a message from Apex. They're a bit slow, I think, today. Well, yesterday I sent it, but hopefully I'll get it soon. But there you go. So, look, have a good luck. I hope you get a trade. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And I'll be back tomorrow. It might be a short day tomorrow. It's my daughter's 16th tomorrow, sweet 16. So we may be going out for a bit of dinner early evening. So I might finish early. We'll see anyway. But I'll leave you, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.